sure.
Okay, so actually we should probably get synced up at the time. I already started the recording, by the way, but it's not really that
That's fine.
formal. I'm at 20 seconds in the replay timer.
Oh, on the replay timer? Okay, let me
Yeah,
pause up there.
where
I'm
you
at
at?
about 6 or 7.
6 or 7. Okay, but just a little bit background information. How long have you been playing Dota or anything like this?
Actually started playing when it came out for Rock Dota, and I played for about a couple months just because I was getting bored of ladder, so I
Hmm.
played some Rock Dota, and then I don't know. I got annoyed that I didn't really know how to play the game, so I got annoyed at clinks and like and throw back in the day. Just couldn't handle it, and Nature's Prophet teleporting everywhere. It was kind of annoying. So I just stopped playing, and then I played again around a couple years later when they started releasing Dota All Stars.
So you're
And
really old school. Dang.
yeah, and then I remember things like when Silencer had like his ult was like the glaive orb that would silence you and auto attack, things
Oh
like
my
that.
god. You're older school than me. I started in like 2008 in the summer.
Bro, Basher clinks all day, man.
Oh my god. So you've been
Yeah.
playing this for a while.
Well, on and off, on and off. But I've
Yeah,
always been like
that's
a
true.
pub star champ, trying to
Yeah, of
run things
course.
like Radiance Omni Knight.
Dude, Scotty Omni is the only way you can build Omni Knight, especially
Ah,
Mid-Solo Scotty.
come on, man. Scotty Omni Knight,
Yeah.
SNY, Boots Travel, GG.
Alright, I'm at 20 seconds. Are you
I'm
there?
ready to go, man. I'm at 20
Alright, we're
seconds.
gonna unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause.
Yep.
23, 24, 25.
There we-
Okay, should be good to go.
like half second behind you, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter too much. But anyways, so when did you start switching to Dota 2? Like,
Uh, I actually caught it before the beta was even released. I was starting to check things out, and then I don't know. I got busy with work, and I was playing WoW pretty competitively in the arena scene. And I just got so sick of WoW that I was like, let's see what the Dota beta is out. And it was about 2012 December. I got a key, and then that's when I started playing. So, pub star champ for about a good year, and then it wasn't until 2013 where I really well, about 2 months ago, I really got trying to get competitive and serious to play well. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, the cool thing about Dota 2 in comparison to Dota 1 is that it sort of matches you up naturally. In Dota 1, you sort of have to, like, look for your own games and you don't really know the competition. In Dota 2, it sort of tracks competition for you. So, I don't know why. I think that's the reason why, like, I'm getting more competitive as well, even though I don't play as much, but I take Dota 2 games a lot more seriously. That's me personally, though.
Hmm.
Just because you always sort of get matched up against better and better competition naturally, rather than, like, looking after it on your own.
I definitely agree. Like until the ban list systems came out and like the game elo tracking came out for like TDA and Warcraft 1, it was really hard to find a balanced team. And especially when you played the like all random or like random drafts, you could really tell by the picks that other people, you everybody wants to go like your heavy nukes and carries, but the other team just picked like 5 AoE stuns. So when the mid game
Yeah.
goes down, you got no chance. You know what I mean?
Yep. So you're Shadow Fiend in this game. Not gonna lie, I have not played Shadow Fiend too often, but I've studied enough of Shadow Fiend play. I've talked to a lot of Shadow Fiend players that I sort of know the basics. So, like, I might be talking a little bit out of my ass when I talk about this guy, but you're gonna have to excuse me for that. I don't really play the hero, but I've talked to a lot of people about this hero. So,
Yeah, it's not a problem. What I'm really one of the heroes I play, I really do study and learn the ins and outs, or try to. But at the same time, I like to work in my own thing, and what I really look for, and in terms of advice, is more so retrospective look on
hmm
things, right?
yeah, makes sense. So right now, this is AR. I can't really disagree with your build. It's pretty solid. I think it might be a little bit an issue because well, just judging by the lanes, you probably couldn't predict that there was going to be Night Stalker mid. It was probably likely, but you could have been facing with a Clinks or a TC or ETS he's called in this game. But, I mean, Night Stalker's a pretty safe guess, but if you look at the base damage difference, you can see right off the bat, it's going to be immense. And Shadow Fiend, he will get his base damage eventually, but still, you want to get ASAP just so you can dominate the lane sooner. Especially against a hero like Night Stalker who can sort of just, you know, uh, once he hits level 6, he just starts roaming. But, I mean, This is really too early to tell because we're paused. I'm not really too sure how this lane is going to go just yet until we start seeing some lasting. But uh, if you don't random Shadow Fiend or anything like that, sometimes a good build is, of course, the three GG branches, the Tangos, and the Salve, the standard Bottle Rush build. Sometimes it might also be prudent to pick up a Wraith Band because it gives you some nice bit of damage and it gives you a bit of HP, a little bit of mana, but mostly the damage because if you look at Shadow Fiend, his base damage is pretty pitiful. But right now, you seem to be doing okay. You got 3 souls. Night Stalker really playing kind of passively, which he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, like I'm really a huge advocate of Night Stalker. I really like that hero. Whenever I'm up against a Shadow Fiend, I actually forego some GG branches. I'll bring a couple clarities to the lane, and I'll actually nuke spam up to my bottle, and it becomes a little more delayed, but at least I can stay in the back lines. And with low mana cost, like early void, only 80 mana, you can easily, like, each clarity will give you another void, on top of the 3 you have when you start. So you can easily get
Yeah,
your bottle.
yeah. So far you're laning a lot better than expected, taking advantage of the Night Stalker passivity. I don't know if you regularly check your items. I'm gonna switch or check the opposing team's items. You probably do, but I mean Night Stalker. It's not really a hero that you really need to check the items too often. He can't really do too much in the early stages of the lane, but that's always a good thing to do. And you're gonna sort of hear me say that in the next replay, which is gonna be it's gonna be critiqued to death because of course it's
Do,
gonna be
do
my
it, man.
favorite hero.
Please, man, do. I
Yeah,
do want to know because that was I think it was another random draft, and that we played, and because my buddies seem to hate on me for playing all pick, but I tell them, hey, play all pick, you go random.
yeah,
I like to, make sure the team's balanced. But anyway, yeah, no, like usually I don't check items in the early game. I do check though in the mid game, like, constantly, because I want to know where, especially the carries, like where their farm is at,
yeah,
with Rays.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean that can be a bit tricky when you don't have any vision, but I mean it was a good attempt, and right now the rune's gonna get jacked. Once you see that he's gonna go for the rune, you should just probably just back off because he could get a couple of souls, but that's really not gonna help you too much. He didn't have a bottle. All he did was pick it up, and you did get the immediate cancellation, I guess. I don't know how that got immediately cancelled. I thought you canceled his salve.
I thought I did cancel his salve, but I didn't think he activated his regen.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
weird. I
but
guess.
the replay said I heard him say regen, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Kinda,
that is. It might be a little bit buggy, but right now, I mean, this lane is going super well. I mean, Night Stalker's literally not doing anything. You're gonna see an axe come in. Uh, so just in general, I think you probably know this, but the goal with Shadow Fiend is to never, ever, 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 ever die.
yeah,
Like more
yeah,
so than any other hero in the game.
yeah. Just
You
not die.
never die. Like leave your team, fuck your team, just never die. Cause I mean, we'll see that in the mid game if you do ever die. You know how far it sets him back, but you have to take some time farming your souls back, getting your full potential damage, and then you can go back into the team fights. And of course, use gold, use time. And Shadow Fiend, naturally, as a hero, since he farms so fast, he tends to get levels. And that's great that he gets levels so quickly. But keep in mind, as you get levels, you get more and more experience, and that means you're going to be respawning. Your respawn timer is going to take longer and longer. So it's essential on Shadow Fiend that you just never ever die, because you're going to be naturally, for the most part, if you're playing it right, you're going to be higher level than most of the other heroes in the game. And of course, every time you die, you have to regain some of your souls. And if they're pushing in and you have no time to regain their souls, then that's a huge chunk of damage on your ultimate as well as your right clicks. But I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit more as this game goes on. But right now, I mean, this lane is going fantastically well.
Yeah, no, I definitely put the soul count on super high priority, especially once my necromancy's at 4, because, like, I honestly feel like I'm just like in terms of the souls, it's like a free relic. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's a
yeah.
free relic plus
It's
the
it's even more now because they buffed it.
yeah, it's 64 now or something like that. So, like, why would you want to get rid of that? You know what I mean? Like, you want that always max. It buffs your ult. Like, you got to keep that up.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Right
Uh,
now, your build is looking fine. Usually max raise and necromancy, so unless there's like a situation where you might not have vision, or you might suspect a gank, or you think that somebody's going to dive you, then you can pick up your ultimate. But right now, your build is very standard. It's probably the optimal way to play Shadow Fiend. But there are certain situations, say for instance, like there was a rune on the top lane, as a really nice raise. You got the double raise, or you got a raise off on the Night Stalker, and this Night Stalker is going to be really crippled. But in certain situations, say if there's like a haste rune and you feel like you're facing a hero that sort of knows what he's doing in regards to dodging raises, if you just pick up the haste rune or something like that, or the invisibility rune, you might be able to channel ultimate. But even then, the raise output damage is a lot higher. So that's a reason why this build is the best. But I mean, like you said, you've played this hero a lot and you've probably studied it, and this is the best skill build to go on Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, like well, the way I understand Shadow Fiend is like up until, let's say, second item, or say you forego like BKB and you go off the back of Shadow Blade into like say an MKB or a Desolator, right? Your raises are going to be doing majority damage, where later on your auto attacks will out
Right,
damage
right.
your raise. You know what I mean? So I think early game, like the way I like to play Shadow Fiend, or I try to, is get 8, so that I'm 36 souls, max raise, and then look for some lane roaming. You know, like try and get some raise ganks and put some pressure on the lane. That way, maybe you'll turn the side into like a side lane push, or even like just keep the mid lane pushed, and then go for a gank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really depends on how much your bottle is doing. And one thing that you could be doing, even though you've been getting all the runes, is just constantly bottle crowing. And that, of course, depends on your team, because sometimes in public games people just say, "Oh my God, why are you hogging the courier so much?" But always having full mana on Shadow Fiend, because mana is a Shadow Fiend's lifeblood as well. Because the more mana you have, the more raises you can spam, and you can just push the lane so quickly. And the thing about Shadow Fiend, which you just did right now, is that if you ever leave him alone in your lane, he will push down your tower, no matter what, which you
Yeah.
just proved. Like, as soon as I start off the lane, you push down the tower. And, that was really, really well done. Really good recognition. But that's why you always want to have full mana. So, bottle crowing is essential. Tread switching is essential. And we're going to see later on if you actually
I
do.
never tread swish.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a hard habit to come by. I actually started recently incorporating that about 3 months ago myself, because in Dota 1 I played on a Mac and you didn't really have hotkeys to change stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now that I'm playing Dota 2, I figured might as well get better at the game, so do tread switching. But, I mean, tread switching is really important on Shadow Fiend, because every moment where you're not farming, or you're I mean, right now you're at full HP but low mana, so you don't really need to go back to base. But you might have to anyways, because without mana, like, what can you honestly do?
Yeah.
So it's sort of a weird situation, but definitely just keep in mind ball crowing and tread switching on Shadow Fiend. It's really, really of the utmost importance, because Shadow Fiend is such a man-dependent hero in the early stages of the game, and if you don't really maximize his race's potential, they don't really get stronger as the game goes on.
Yeah. So you're saying like like you switch to agility just to get like the mana gains and healing gain, and just
Yeah,
like
when you bot up, switch to agility. When you cast threes, you switch to intel, and then after you cast threes, you switch back. I mean,
oh geez, that's some yeah. I got the micro. I just never thought of it like that, like switching to
yeah, every
intel.
time
Yeah. Yeah.
when you bottle up, of course, you're reducing your HP pool. If you're on, well, you're gonna get more HP, more mana, relatively speaking, just because of how the stats work. And when you use intelligence, you're gonna automatically get an extra boost in terms of mana because you're gaining more intelligence. And that means when you switch back, like, you'll have a little bit of extra mana to go back towards. But usually on Shadow Fiend, it's probably best to always stay in strength or agility treads. Agility treads to ball up as a nice raise, and you're gonna get a good kill. But when you're casting the raises, you always use intel treads. So right now you can see you're out
Oh
of mana.
yeah. If I had the mana, if I had bottled up earlier, I would
Yeah,
have
that
had that
was.
kill.
You didn't have any charges on your bottle.
I don't know, but if I had done earlier, like what you're saying, like with the bottle crowing, because I was half mana the whole time since I came from mid.
And actually, if you tread
Yeah.
switched, you're at 50 mana. I think you would have
Ah,
gotten enough extra for
for
that
MP
second raise, because you actually used the middle raise and it hit him, so you definitely would have been able to end. So I mean,
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
counts with Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's a very, very precise hero. That's why people
yeah.
love watching him, because he's so technical, so precise.
Well, it would have been probably a tower too if Titan died.
Yeah, probably because you have the catapult there. I mean, you have Basilius on your Venom who's not using it, so.
Who's this NASA guy? Yeah, no, Lena. I think it's Lena, and who's the other guy? Uh, just Lena. Yeah, it's only a dual queue, all random. But yeah, no, but the bottle crowing, I do actually quite often when I play Magnus. Like I actually do that like legit. 100%. Sometimes even buy my own courier if I get a random Magnus, and just tell people don't use the War Dog. It's mine.
Yeah, I mean, in sort of a soul environment, it's a lot more difficult because teammates might get angry at you. But I mean, as a mid soul, you're expected to have a huge impact, and the best way to do that is to just bottle crow. And you can
Mhm.
see you're at full HP, but you're forced back to base because
What am
you
I gonna
can.
do with no mana?
Yeah, I mean, so like right now you're wasting about 15 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but every bit does count when you're Shadow Fiend.
Hmm. I definitely agree. Yeah.
So I mean, that's something you can work on.
Yeah.
Treads, bottle, standard, ward. I don't know if you got the wards or your
I
teammate got
bought
it.
those. I bought those.
I mean, that's fine. Like, if you feel like you need a ward to spot the runes or help your positioning or anything like that, if you
It was for
want.
runes. Yeah. I see. Cause it's still up on the top mid. It's
Yeah.
still there. And because I didn't want Night Stalker out ruining me, especially since you got a double kill after first night, and I really don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, makes sense.
One of the things I look forward to as well is when I'm going for build is like right around now is when I decide on like my build because like usually I buy pieces in the mid game immediately and then late game I try to save for buyback and buy items outright.
Yeah, that's definitely the smart way to go about it.
Yeah, so like I think I was gonna go BKB first, but then I decided to I think go for a Shadow Blade. I didn't know how to deal with this AM. I never really played against AM as a Shadow Fiend, so I never really knew how to deal with that. Because right now, this is where I'm making decisions to like, okay, I got to roam, got to gank, and what do I need to do that better against this team? You know what I mean?
Well, just judging on your team composition, I think your team could potentially gank fine without you. I think you want to be farming constantly, and Chalfian is probably the best flash farmer in the game because of raises and his auto attack damage. But I mean, again, in this sort of unorganized environment, grouping up is really never a bad option as long as you're sort of getting something for your troubles. But in the meanwhile, while this is happening, you can see Anti-Mage is farming, Night Stalker's getting solo experience, meanwhile you're grouped up as 5. So as long as you take this tower very quickly, it will be worth it for the most part, but usually having a solid goal in mind is definitely the way to go about it, as you're going to get stomped, but no ultimate, no mana, so you guys are going to be fine. But yeah, I mean, just something else that I want to mention, just to sort of reiterate this, because this point really needs to be driven home. In the middle lane, when you're casting your raises, if you had intel treads, you would have only had to use maybe 1 or 2 charges of your bottle. But now you have an empty bottle, and you don't have it full mana. If you just switched to intel treads, you would have had
Mm-hmm.
full mana probably, and only and 1 charge left in your bottle. And saving 1 charge is always a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. That's good. That's a good call.
Oh, missed the raise. But I mean, that just comes with practice. Ultimate leveled up at 9 because of this huge fight. Good job. So this might be a little bit of an advanced outfeed maneuver, but I mean, it's worth talking about. Raise
So,
canceling.
oh, raise canceling? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So obviously if you, because raise is a positional spell based on
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
point your hero, so you can cancel
Yeah.
raises if you feel like you don't, if it's not going to hit. I mean, it might be a little bit, sort of hard to recognize, but again, Chalfine with mana, it's such a precious resource that if you aren't making the most
Yeah,
usage
because
of your raises, then you're losing out.
I think I actually no, you're definitely correct. Like if I noticed the raise cancel, I could have canceled that C raise, but definitely would have been better.
I mean, that just comes with a lot of practice. That's not really something you can do spur of the moment. Just say, "Hey, I'm gonna raise cancel this." It's just like, oh, I have to practice this,
Yeah,
and then I become naturally good. And keep in mind, like I don't play Xiaofeng. I can't raise cancel either.
no,
Well, I know
it's
how
it's
to, but
definitely a good
like,
point though. It's definitely a good point to reiterate because some people will say, "Oh, I whiffed the C raise. I didn't mean to do a C raise there. I meant to do the W raise, but then or the E raise, but so I'm saying C. 'Cause I don't know Dota 1, but whatever." But yeah, no, you're definitely right because if I canceled that, I would have actually had the E raise like waiting for him. You know what I mean? On the chase,
yeah,
and Titan would have got hit by the E raise in the jungle rather than trying to find him. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it makes more sense that way. The reason I was ganking too a lot in this game, or trying to at least, is because I had no confidence in this Bat Rider because I didn't really see him like do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's understandable. It all really depends on the flow of the game, and you were playing with these guys. I'm just watching you guys play,
Yeah,
so
true.
it's sort of different. But I mean, yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from. As good dust. A little bit concerning is that even though this is a pub game and you can't really rely on your teammates all the time, as you're getting awards and dust. I mean, that's very good and all, but it's probably something that I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard because I know when you play in an organized environment, your friends will probably get the dust if you're
Oh
playing
yeah.
this
When
carry.
I'm
So
playing 4 and 5 queue, they like
yeah, they'll get the
My buddy Chuck, he's king. Like he wards. He does all. I don't have to worry about anything like that. It's like it's so relaxing. Like all I gotta
it's
say
just
for
a way. It's your
everybody
way.
who's playing pubs, if you like to play carry or mid, find yourself a good support friend because like somebody who knows how to ward, pull, stack, all that fun stuff, like you're gonna have you're your game yourself. Be able to focus on how to play mid and bot. Like my buddy, I think he's in the back game actually. His name's Chuck Smug. I'm not sure. He's in my Lifestealer game for sure, but he does all that pulls, stacks, wards. He knows how to he knows the meta game. He knows how to draft things like that. And like, actually playing with him has helped me a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different matter in this game because you don't know some of your teammates. So I guess
Oh yeah.
I was a bit mistaken, but I mean, you recognize that and you already do that anyway. So it was just something I was a bit questioning on. But your
No,
logic makes complete
it's
sense.
definitely something good to say because I think a big problem too is a lot of people when they play in pubs is that, and this is usually when I play supports or mids or the carry, is like people won't take that initiative. Like, say you have a pudge mid and he's like, "Oh, I need wards to see my runes," and I'm like, nobody's buying them. I'm like, dude, get them yourself. If it's gonna be that much a bit of a benefit, like at least one set, that's 6 minutes of rune coverage. You're gonna get 3 runes
Yeah.
out of it, you know. So people should just bite the bullet sometimes. It's worth it. You know what I mean? Like as you can see, at like both times I bought wards and things, I got ganks top, push the tower, ganks bot, push the tower, and I had rune control for like 6 minutes. So like it was worth it. Finished my
Yeah.
Shadow Blade, almost got my BK halfway to my BKB. It helps.
Yeah, I mean, right now this is really, really helpful because one thing I was gonna mention is as Kunkka gonna miss the X torrent. It's it's kind of hard with actually level 1 X to execute that combination. It's actually really, really difficult to execute that combination, but still a little bit slow. But I mean, you're going in, gonna cast the ultimate, getting that slow. Trying to hit
Yeah,
that guy. You got the slow. That's all.
that's why
really
that was
matters.
my goal because I didn't want to get taunted.
Yeah.
So I just want to tag him with a slow.
One thing is you're getting a lot of kills, you're getting a lot of assists. This is great. But there are periods where you're not really doing some stuff because you're roaming and, obviously not the best communication. One thing to keep in mind with Fiend is that he is probably the fastest early game farmer in the game by far.
Yeah,
And
no,
right
you're
now
correct.
your CS at this point is,
Pretty
not
trash.
very remarkable. Yeah, I mean, you got 6 kills and 2 assists. That's really, really good. But, I mean, every time you find a free moment, because there's a period where you're just wandering the river trying to sort of get a rune or force a gank or something like that, trying to place a ward. You could be going into neutrals, and of course this also has to tie in with ball crowing, because sometimes you can't actually farm the creeps when you don't have enough mana. So, middle heroes, you always have to have full mana. It's just...
No,
it's
you're
gonna,
right because I noticed a lot of the times I'm literally sitting on no mana and like, what am I gonna do if I can't farm?
Yeah,
You know what
nice
I mean?
triple raise right there. Really, really well done. Unfortunately, he didn't really have any way out. No mana. Shadow Blade was on cooldown.
Triple kill with the ult. Stupid clinks.
Yeah. I'm just checking the lineup. Magic Wand is always useful. I think Shadow Fiend can definitely benefit from Magic Wand because he's squishy and needs the mana. I get Magic Wand on every hero, no matter what game, but that's just me. I mean, in this game, maybe not so much because they don't have that many spammable spells, but I'm sure you get Magic Wand, like, if you feel like it, if you feel like it's necessary.
Normally I get it on every hero. I don't
Okay.
know why I didn't get it this game.
I mean, I think especially when you have a Shadow Blade and you're out of mana and you're facing into an anti-mage, just saving that stock of Magic Wand can save your life if they don't have detection. So I think you should, when you get a hero that has like invisibility or they're playing against mana burn heroes or a squishy hero who can still do a lot in team fight no matter how low of HP you can, I think Magic Wand is pretty much a must. So I guess
Yeah,
that's...
no, I agree.
As teleport, raise, no, just right click. You raise cancelled right there, I saw that. You were just like, fuck it, I just want to right click him down, not waste mana. So that was good.
Yeah, like I try when I play Shadow Fiend, I try and judge the raise just so I know I don't have to burn mana.
Yeah, your raise placements are actually really good.
Yeah, well, that comes from playing like Warcraft 3 ladder and all like other kinds of games like that where you just like where spells are line spells like from in the
Yeah,
front of
yeah,
the
yeah.
character. So you have to
That
learn to
sucker
deal with
just
that.
chilling. Oh, you're gonna channel ultimate, but you're kind of fucked. Yeah, you actually no way you could escape that situation. You got 2 kills. Uh, your teammates didn't back you up. Kunkka
My
was low, and I
Shadow
think the
Blade
rest were
was
dead.
my Shadow Blade was on cooldown.
Yeah, there was really honestly nothing you could have done to escape that. Even if you had a magic wand, you're boned regardless.
Hmm.
So I mean,
What
uh,
can you do, right?
yeah,
Sometimes you
what
just
can you
die.
do? But I mean, right now 11, 2, and 3. So even if you're not farming well, you're farming heroes, which is really really good. Uh, let's just check out the levels. Yeah, you're the second highest level here in the game. But
It's funny you mentioned earlier about me like not doing things in the thing because usually when I like it's certain heroes. It's weird how certain heroes I feel I have that under control. Where like I know that okay, I've done this. I go do this now. When I'm playing Lifestealer, for instance, I just know that I have such a good feeling for that hero that I know what I got to be doing at all
yeah,
times.
it's kind of tricky with Shadow Fiend because he can do so much, but he's
Yeah,
restricted by his mana pool. Like, you have so much burst damage, so you can gank and you can get kills, and that's awesome. You can farm super fast. You have plus damage spells, so you can carry, so you can split push, you can farm. I mean, it's kind of tricky to find the balance. Shadow Fiend is such an interesting hero in that regards, and that's why, he's so favored by so many heroes as a good gank right there. Uh, but what is a bit concerning in this game is that their pushing gets more and more powerful. Your pushing does not.
that's right. Yeah.
So that could be a bit an issue. Uh, Again, I really like the fact that you're going for kills, but sometimes you should look at the game. I mean, obviously you're looking at the game. And Anti-Mage didn't go for a Battle Fury so for whatever reason, so his split pushing is going to be very minimal to say the least. But I mean, when you have Shadow Fiend, especially with the Shadow Blade, don't be afraid to go into enemy territory and just raise. And every time, and this is why having top tier map awareness is really, really effective. And of course,
Hmm.
that some of that comes with wards, which your team is not getting for the most part, or sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But just pushing out a lane, just providing a little bit of pressure, allows you to free up the map. And with Shadow Fiend, because he has the minus armor, every time the creepy golem is pushed closer to their base, that is almost a free Roshan because you get minus armor, you do a lot of damage, and it's hard to contest Shadow Fiend in the pit because he has that huge damaging ultimate
That's
that
right.
does
Yeah.
so much. So, uh, I mean, you were farming the jungle for a bit, but there was a point where your teammates were just farming or were trying to get the heroes, and you were farming the jungle. So, I think one of the reasons for that is because you wanted to be a bit safe because you didn't have all your souls maxed up.
Yeah. I wanted to get my soul.
Yeah, but I mean, you should sometimes also just look at and just. This is why also looking at the opposing team's items is really, really essential. Because right now, if you click at the items, and this is something that I would always do on Invisible Heroes, this is like one of the only things that I practice what I preach. I always look when I have Invisible Hero, do they have Dust, do they have Sentries? If they don't, I'm just going to push. I'm just going to push and force them to respawn. And then you can just force engagements 4v5 or whatever, and
That's
just make their
actually
life really,
an
really
excellent
difficult.
point. Because around this time, actually, right now is when I was looking at items and I was thinking, "Oh, Am's gonna have a Battle Fury," and actually, I can remember my mindset. I was like, "This guy can't push. I'm gonna do what I want right now." But I should have actually, what you're saying, been with my team bot, and we probably could have got bot tower and maybe even Roche. I don't
No,
know.
even then, you didn't have to be with your team bot. You could have just
Yeah.
been pushing top. Because they don't
Oh,
have
okay.
detection. And if you looked at the items, you could realize they don't have detection. I can split push to my heart's content, and they can't stop me. They can't touch me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're very right. You're absolutely correct. Yeah.
And the thing with Shadow Fiend is that he's so fast at pushing. So,
Yeah, 2 raises, waves gone, right?
yeah. So, I mean, I think this is a must for any hero. And, this is sometimes, like, even with players who are better than me, sometimes they don't even do this, but just always look at the opposing team's items, no matter the situation. Like, okay, you're walking from a neutral to camp. Let's just see who else on the map, what items they're having, and if I have Invisible Hero, I'm gonna click everybody. Like, 10,000 times because I'm extremely paranoid and I want to make sure they don't have detection. If they don't have detection, alright, I can farm safely. If they have detection, okay, maybe I want to stay with my team a little bit and, try to fight with them or, try to, pinpoint a gank to try to kill them and make sure that they don't buy any more detection for whatever reason. But
Yeah. I think here's something really weird happens. I honestly thought like I think we get into a team fight in a little bit, and I think my ult bugs out. I'm not too sure, but I was almost positive I was pressing R.
yeah, I guess
Oh, that's what happened.
we'll find out. You're silenced, invisible. Uh,
I'm not doing anything.
you're not doing anything. You pop the BKB, but Axe Taunt goes through the BKB,
Oh,
so
okay.
they're owning you.
There we go. I didn't even notice the
Yeah,
icon.
Axe Berserker's Call goes through BKB, so
Yeah.
that kind of sucks for you.
Well, I know that, but I think through all the spam, I didn't realize Axe got taunt off me because an ult right there would have been pretty king.
And just something else. I know you're getting the wards, so you're obviously, have some influence on your team. I don't know how much are you talking to your team in this game, because the thing about TC is that he is so stupid. He is so annoying. He's like one of the best team fight heroes by far, and you can't fight in this little closed-off choke point ever against TC because it's just so ridiculous.
Stomp into whatever that fissure is. Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
pretty lame.
like, I guess, I don't know. It's hard to say without looking at your in-game chat. I mean, the situation was kind of hard to read as well. But Axe and TC, especially when Axe had his dagger, and I think he's had the dagger for a bit. Maybe not.
I think I think what was the biggest problem there, and I didn't call out that team fight, but I thought there was I thought we we could probably do something here, right? Because we had
Yeah, I think if you got the Shaofin ultimate, you still managed to get 3 kills. And if you got the Shaofin, you might have gotten a team wipe, and you wouldn't have died.
the problem was we didn't have boat. Kunkka threw a random boat for us to I guess to cover our tower take, so he didn't have boat, and I think we probably should have just waited for everything. 'Cause I think now is the point in the game where we need to do a proper team fight. We can't just go in with say a one ultimate. We kind of got to take them out properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But this is the problem with Shaofin dying, because you need to get your souls back, and right now, it's kind of hard because you're posing the other team's on your side of the map, and you want to get the damage, you want to help out your team, but you don't have enough. You don't have your max damage potential, but you need to go back in, and now you're right-clicking and you get a kill, and you can start doing some work. So I think it won't really hurt you that much in this engagement because you're picking up your souls very rapidly in the meanwhile. But
Well, I think the big thing too is that what I'm not taking into consideration is if we do get a good team fight in, you get what 12 souls per hero kill. So
yeah,
that's like
you get 6,
3.
I think.
Was it necromancy? If the unit is killed as a hero, yeah, I think it's just 6 or 12. Either way, killing a hero will get me my souls faster.
Yeah, definitely. It depends on the hero's positioning, and for some reason they aren't grouped up, and they're fighting without the TC ultimate. Pop the BKB, afraid of the mana burn or something. Oh yeah, you didn't have Shadow Blade, so BKB was definitely the good call to take a lot less reduced damage. So good usage of BKB right there, because you got the kill, you didn't take the mana burn damage, you didn't take the mana void damage, and your Shadow Blade was on cooldown, so you had to pop the BKB. So good usage of that.
Yeah. I actually kind of lucked out there because he popped his what's it called, Manta, right before I ulted, so my ult wiped his illusions. So I was kind of happy with that.
I think even then you probably would have been okay.
Yeah. Well, I just I don't know. For some reason, whenever I play Shadow Fiend, I'm always usually up against an AM or some sort of blinky stealthy hero, and it just
And Shadow Fiend's just like, stay still. I want to hit you guys.
Still,
I want to hit you guys, please. I want to just.
I want Drow. Give me Drow.
Please. Raises are kind of hard, guys. Please,
Yeah, really.
just stay in one place so I can hit you with the raises and shit.
And I guess anti-mage too.
And 2H and Clinks. It's just.
I feel that Shadow Fiend has a relatively high intel gain against compared to other characters. So I don't know. Maybe I just feel that way because getting freaking mana voided as Shadow Fiend. I don't know. I don't like it. It hurts, man.
Because you're always using your mana.
I have no mana.
Yeah, you're always using your mana.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I just want to talk about communication with this team. With this team, Actually, I started talking at the beginning, and then
I
we
mean,
had.
it's kind of hard to like coach you on. It depends on the game. Like
Well,
it,
they had a bunch of
yeah.
e-thugs. A couple of them were. They're just e-thugging it out. So like, I
Like
just stayed quiet and I talked
yeah,
to.
you can't really coach on that. It's just like you
Yeah.
should recognize the situation for yourself and just like decide for yourself if they want to. If they're agreeable, then they might listen to you. If they're not, then just do it yourself. Because pubs, it's you sort of have to be on your own for the most part. And
Yeah.
right now, pushing, going for the tower trade, good.
Yeah. Sometimes when I play, one of my biggest problems is I do reactive play, where what I mean by that is just like I'll do something after I see something happen. So it's like if I feel like I have some advantage and I'm not pushing, I'll just like push after the fact because I see, oh, they're bot lane, now I can push. Whereas before I was like, shit, I need my souls and all this other stuff. I'm gonna go farm, get my souls, then I'll help out everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think in this fight you were just like, fuck it. I mean,
Oh,
this is not
I
a
was
good fight.
fucking up fighting that. That's actually literally what I was saying to myself, and my buddy Eddie's like, "What are you doing, man? You baited your team." And I was like, "Nope, not dying."
I mean, to be fair, your team ran behind the tier 2 that was still alive while you were hitting it instead of going with you to the tier 2 and
Yeah.
hitting it. So,
You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't they help me kill the tower? Oh, this guy trying to get me with a sentry. Not gonna happen. But yeah, no. That reminds me that back in the day when we talked about the Dota 1 experience, that was one thing that made me actually stop playing the game back in the day was you had to buy sentries or gems to reveal people. I think Dust was one of my most favorite things that they ever added to
yeah,
the game.
yeah.
You know, and I'm surprised they never bought Dust on me. They never bought Dust for me, really. Like, I think they thought it was non-factor, but who knows, man? You know?
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, like, Xiaofeng can only split push so much, so you have to group their team. I
Yeah.
don't know, that might be their logic, or maybe they just said, we can deal with them regardless, or something like that.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask though too is like usually when I'm up against like AM or Clinks, I almost always like for my first like tier 4 DPS item, almost always I like, default the MKB. Just like I don't want to have to deal. Like say they farmed a butterfly before I could get it. Like I don't want to have to deal with that. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's like a good call or not.
It's really, really hard to say. I don't know if that is always the good option on a hero like Shadow Fiend. On a hero like Gyrocopter, yeah, because you can cover yourself with AoE, and usually you can stay in the back because you have a lot of range.
Yeah.
On Shadow Fiend, because you can still do a lot of damage, and because you can still use the right click, but you're still a little bit squishy, I think Butterfly could be a good option instead of MKB first.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Lifesteal could be a plausible option. Maybe not after. Yeah, definitely Lifesteal not after BKB Shadowblade. You definitely want to have some sort of damage, but it's hard to say. I think Butterfly, especially against this team, they have Clinks and Anti-Mage, and Night Stalker hits
Yeah.
quite
You
a
know
bit
what?
as well.
You're definitely correct. Like a butterfly probably would have
It
been a better
it depends
bet.
on it depends game to game, but I think in this game Butterfly would have been a lot more useful. I mean, and the sooner you get it, because I don't know if you're gonna go for Butterfly in this game at all, but
Yeah,
eventually,
I just put it onto my bar. Yeah.
yeah, if you've ever played against this hero, Clicks will go for MKB.
Yeah,
So
almost
it's
always.
sooner
Yeah.
to get the Butterfly. It's better to get it sooner while it's still reasonably effective. Or if you don't get the Butterfly, but the Clinks is going to get MKB regardless, then you just say, alright, maybe some other item besides Butterfly. But I think Butterfly is better than MKB in this game, by
Yeah,
far.
I think I might have maybe pooped my pants a little bit because I saw an Eagle Song on AM or the whatever the 3300 gold item is. I saw that and I was like, oh, I need MKB or I'm not gonna be able to kill this guy. You know what I mean? But maybe I should have just depended more on Batrider getting a good lasso off or Lena getting an LSA than really trying to like build myself to kill AM. Because really, I think endgame one-on-one AM will poo on Shadow Fiend like one-on-one.
It depends. I think Xiaofeng's one of the good carries that can match up. I mean,
Yeah.
in BKB, Anti-Mage really can't touch Xiaofeng because he has minus armor, and Anti-Mage doesn't. But I mean, it depends, of course, on the farm levels, and more often than not, you're right. Because AM can build in times like Basher, and Xiaofeng can't. And if you get bashed, you're done.
That's true. Well, like an Abyssal Blade, he'll kill you in the Abyssal Blade, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, right now your team is losing a lot of momentum. And I can't honestly say you played bad. You played well, I thought, and you killed the anti-mage. You will be able to survive from Mantis Split.
That's
But there
just
are a
great.
lot of little things with Shadow Fiend. Like, you could be split pushing while the other team's going down, especially when you pick up a Shadow Blade, which is a split pushing item. That's why you see it in a lot of the competitive games. Nature's Hog gets Shadow Blade. He gets Shadow Blade so he can teleport to one lane, push a tower, and then when his team says, okay, somebody just teleported back, he Shadow Blades immediately before he even sees the TP happening, and then just gets the fuck out. You can do sort of the same thing with Shadow Fiend, except faster. The pushing, but not as fast at, just transitioning to the other side of the map. Ball crowing, that is something you really, 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 really need to do here. I've counted 3 or 4 teleports that you went back to base on full HP and you had no mana, and that's
Yeah, no,
costly.
you're
That
definitely
is,
correct about that.
and also you teleport back, which is kind of, a bit of a waste of gold. And if you ball crowed, you didn't have to teleport back. You could use
Yeah, no, you're
that
definitely
teleport to
correct.
save it.
Yeah.
Like, there's always, I don't know, Shadow Fiend's so complex that
Well, I've seen a few. The reason I wanted to play Shadow Fiend a lot of like while trying to learn them was I watched a couple Dota 1 replays, back some Chinese Dota,
yeah,
and
Yavits and stuff.
I always wondered. I'm like, these guys, they're just sitting in the lane. You know what I mean? Like, what are they doing? And then what I realized is like they're doing what you're saying they're doing is like they'll get kills in their lane. As soon as that guy leaves their lane, they're just ball crowing, like pushing the lane. And it's like, okay, but then like what you noticed against these Shadow Fiend players, the higher end ones, is that when it's mid game, like they're literally sitting on maybe 2 towers. You know what I mean? Because Shadow
Yeah,
Fiend
yeah.
pushed like 3 of them down.
And
Yeah.
when you push down towers, you're going to be high leveled, and then you get more rack control. You can push down another tower, and then because you
Yeah.
have the minus armor, you get Roshan, and then that's all well and good. So Shadow Fiend's a very, very momentum-based hero, and if you don't get the momentum, which I think you got a reasonable momentum because you got like 6 kills very early on, you picked up a 13-minute Shadow Blade, which is definitely not too bad.
Hmm. But I
So,
definitely could have had the BKB.
but there are
But,
moments in time that you sort of, I think you felt like, what should I do?
no, I honestly like when I'm playing in these pubs, like that's literally how I feel. Sometimes it's like, geez, like what do I gotta do now? Because like my team's just kind of like AFK farming jungle, or they're like pushing, like 3-man pushing the same lane, but they're not really like posturing to take a tower. They're kind of just like hanging out. So like what I'm trying to do is like, man, like what do I gotta do? Like what do I gotta do to get these guys to like do something? You know what I mean? Because if I gotta
Yeah,
always
with
be
certain
there,
heroes, you probably should just say, instead of what do I gotta do to get these guys doing, you just say I'm gonna play with my own game. With certain heroes, you can do that. With Shadow Fiend, I think you can do that. With heroes like Bat or something like that, which I mean we can find out in the next game. You sort of have to make your team do stuff, or like
yeah.
heroes like Veno or supports like that, you gotta make your team do stuff. With heroes like Shadow Fiend, you have a lot of freedom. I feel like so
Hmm.
it's really just comes down to experience playing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I also noticed too that a lot of I don't know if this is correct, but it might tie into the whole momentum based thing. Is a lot of my Shadow Fiend games go 50 minutes plus, 60 minutes plus, and I feel that Shadow Fiends like they should end the game before 50 minutes, in my opinion.
He's a
Uh,
really strong carry. I've definitely seen cases of Shadow Fiend out carrying, anti-mages or
yeah,
similarly farmed heroes just because he right clicks a lot harder. And even with, a similar item set, because his damage is really, really scary because he gets that plus damage. But you are correct. Shadow Fiend games should not go that late because
yeah.
you farm so much faster that you should be 1 or 2 items ahead of their hard carry.
Hmm.
And when you're 1 or 2 items ahead, you can get towers and get Roshan. And, the reason why I'm emphasizing Rosh so much is because Shadow Fiend needs a safety net of the Aegis. Because if he doesn't have it, then you lose souls and then you're going to die. And, you, and he's squishy as well, so it's kind of hard. It's a difficult situation. And right now, I'm going to pop the Shadow Blade. See how this fight goes. Raise onto Night Stalker. Then you realize, oh shit, this is kind of bad.
Titan.
Yep, Axe gets a really good call.
Yep. And I'm honestly right now I'm thinking in my head I'm like that's a Rax, like that's Rax right there. They killed us in our jungle and and the lane's pushing. I'm like this is Rax.
Yeah, I mean, it will be Rex, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not too
like,
sure.
I was hoping like maybe they're too low. They won't. They'll run away. It's like I don't think so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That team fight, like, I think you would have lost regardless, but, I mean, I just feel like I should mention this just because, I am coaching.
Say what you gotta say.
Uh, like, he ran around You ran around and
I ran around like a goof.
like you Shadow Blade out, and then your team re-engaged, and it was not the optimal re-engage. But you should have made up your mind. Either you run the fuck out to your base, so you can split push another lane while that's happening, or you fight and you die with your team. Like you can't just half and half it. You gotta either pussy out completely or go in balls deep with your team. Because if you pussy out completely, at least you have a chance to push other lanes, and that's the best you can do when your Rax is being pushed.
Yeah.
If you went in balls deep, then you can say, okay, you know what, I tried, we just didn't have enough damage, the game's just not looking good. That fight you just did,
Nothing.
you stayed in the fight, and I think you right clicked literally 3 times.
Yeah,
So-
no, like I think what in retrospect, actually, after looking at that fight, I think if I actually when they got that LSA, if I actually went in again and just like dropped the ult, I think we probably would have got a Clinks and a Titan kill. Maybe not an AM kill, but we probably would have killed Clinks for sure, because Clinks was sitting on like 15%.
Yeah,
HP.
and with the Venomancer ultimate, like AM was pretty low. If you managed to get at least 2 kills, then I don't think they could have pushed the Rex, even if you were dead.
Yeah. No, no, you're right. I kind of like, you can straight up say like I straight up just like.
I mean, it's hard because team fights, I panic all the time. Like that's one of my biggest downfalls of a player. I have bad reactions and I panic.
Yeah.
But like, since I'm coaching you, since I have an open vision, I can say this, that like you can work on that, and obviously you can keep that in mind. And right now,
right.
you're in a really you guys are not in a good position to say the least.
Oh no! Now we have an AM with Butterfly. Like we got.
Yeah, the
Clinks
Sam
like-
is actually really not that farmed. Like.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why I felt like we could have won this game, was because like he went we know it's okay, he went Vanguard. We're like, okay, this guy's going old school, like he's going Treads Vanguard. And it's like the next item we're like Manta, we're like, yo, this guy's not even, he's skipping the battlefield.
Can I ask when this game is played? Because
When's
I
played?
feel like this game was really just ET owning you guys. Because I think you guys, I don't know if it was you guys or your
The
team.
game was less than a month ago, like probably like a week. Or
Yeah,
two.
I think this is a lack of familiarity of fighting ET. Because at one point you've got a lot of towers, and then you took a really bad team fight, and then ET was just able to do like a lot of card control, and eventually Anti-Mage with the Clinks backup will outcarry you no matter what. But considering the game, 200 CS at 40 minutes on a Shadow Fiend is pretty garbage. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mince words, it's pretty garbage.
No, say it's, yeah, that's not so I know, because like I know that, like I noticed that about myself a lot of the time, is that what I do is like, okay, yeah, I get this great start, I get kills, but then I'm not like pushing the farm. And like what I try and do is I try and go by 5 to 6 CS a minute, and I divide my number by that number, and I see what my time is. And then usually when I'm seeing myself, I'm sitting on like 3. You know what I mean? When it comes to like,
even
like,
5 CS is not good. Like,
yeah.
7 Shadow Fiend, 8,
Yeah.
7 with Shadow Fiend is very feasible. With heroes like Spectre or Phantom Lance in Alien, 5 is great. With Shadow Fiend, you should be getting more. And this is the main summary of this lesson. You would have been able to do that if you just Bottle-Crowed and Tread Switched. If you just Bottle-Crowed and Tread Switched, you would have had full mana and you could do more shit. If you just Bottle-Crowed and Tread Switched. And
Yeah.
don't forget Tread Switching.
Yeah, no, because you're right. Because instead of just like sitting in the jungle doing nothing, I could have like just wiped out a few camps, and then bottle crowed it back, then did my gank. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
makes sense.
It's kind of annoying that the game has come down to it, but you want to be the best you possibly can, and that's the way you can play the hero. And
yeah,
obviously it makes Shadow Fiend so much better if you do that.
you're right, because in essence, if I pushed faster and farmed faster, I could have had my MKB up, or I probably would have went Butterfly, because I was actually thinking of the Butterfly.
Yeah, I
before
mean,
the
considering
MKB.
Anti-Mage got a Vanguard Yasha, I think you would have been able to get MKB before Anti-Mage finished his Manta. Like,
Yeah.
or maybe not his Manta. Well, maybe his Manta. Definitely Clinks before his BKB. Clinks was really shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree, because I try and like I go. My rule of thumb with Shadow Fiend is I want to have 3 items before their carry has 2. That's what I try and I aim for, because of his farm potential. There was one Shadow Fiend game I played about like 4 or 5 months ago against the Lone Druid, and the Lone Druid went double Midas, but I was doing what you were saying to do, except I went Boots of Travel,
Yeah.
Shadow Fiend,
Split
Boots
push
of
Shadow
Travel-
Fiend. That's
Boots of
definitely
Travel
very
for, like,
viable.
Yeah. And just constantly changing lanes, pushing lanes, go into the jungle, wave the jungle, push lanes, and
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting on I think by the end of the game 700 CS after 60 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's really awesome Shadow Fiend.
Well,
this game,
I
you went
wasn't
for more of a
focusing on-
battle-heavy Shadow Fiend,
Yeah.
which is great. And
I wasn't
unfortunately,
focusing on ganking.
you guys could have got like you could have done better, but I think you guys would have won if you just didn't if you guys didn't get fucked by ET in that bottom team or in that middle team fight.
Yeah,
I think
that I
that's
think
what
that middle
happened.
team fight is what sealed us the deal.
And
Like,
the axe call,
yeah,
it clumped. It's always hard when ET gets a stun and then you have some other AOE to back it up, and it's hard. I think you guys would have been able to win this, but I mean that team fight and the mistakes did pile up. I mean,
that's right.
it matters. It matters,
It
and
does. I was at the late game, like I started like losing a little bit of hope because like this, I don't know, I was losing faith in this Kunkka and this Bat because a lot of the times Bat would just like randomly lasso without me there, and I was trying to tell him, I'm like, dude, you guys can't kill these people, like especially AM, like you can't kill AM with just you, Kunkka, and Lina. Like you guys don't have the damage. Like he's sitting on a butterfly, you know what I mean? In Vanguard and Manta, like you're not killing him, and they'll take him down to a third HP every time, and they just don't do it. But I'm not trying to blame people. I'm just saying, hero
yeah,
wise, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
and that is definitely discouraging. That's kind of one of the reasons why I took a break from Dota, because I was playing a lot and I wasn't finding the best success. But in the end, it is a game, and
Yeah, it's true.
once
Yeah.
I just
It is. It's
realized,
all about being a game. Like,
yeah,
and I noticed that actually when I took that philosophy about it being a game,
yeah,
I actually play better because I'm
yeah,
not
you're more
stressed.
relaxed. Like you're not really worried. I think when you're more relaxed, you sort of worry more about yourself, and when you're worrying about yourself, you don't really have to worry so much about a team. And of course, it really depends on the heroes. But I mean, hopefully that game I felt was really interesting. I haven't watched. I mean, the other coaching sessions, the people have not been as experienced as you, but I saw a lot of good things
Well,
and a
honestly,
lot of things you could work on. So I thought that was
my
good.
experience comes from watching a lot of the commentators recently, and like really, I based a lot of my. I have to restart Dota for a second because Ken
Okay.
won't let me load my profile. But I based a lot of my learning off of watching Chinese Dota and Pinoy Dota. I really like that,
Mhm.
and because I like to play aggressive gank style, and I also like to learn how to farm. And I've actually adopted a lot of people's farming techniques. Like I never knew about like how to properly farm PL, right?
Right.
But then I watched like ZSMJ, and it's like this guy. Like, look at this guy. You know what I mean? Like this, it shows you all these tricks, like throwing doppel images into the jungle, push the lane with that, and then and then like have keeper or teleport top, and then like as your images die, they build up top, move them into the jungle, and then you go bottom, and you're just sitting on like ridiculous. You're sitting on like 800 GPM. You're like, get out of here. Like you're not gonna kill me. You know what I mean?
All right, I'll be back in literally 30 seconds. I'm just gonna get some more water.
Yeah,
I'm in the Batrider replay. We'll get to 20 seconds again, I think.
yeah.
20
I'll get
seconds
20
in the
seconds.
Batrider replay, and then I'll be back with some water, and then prepare yourself, because this is my favorite hero in the game
I'm gonna
by
get shit
far.
on, man.
All right.
Yeah.